94.3 The Dude is very grateful to our men and women in uniform. We're proud to recognize local members of our military by turning the spotlight on them right now in our Soldier Salute.
And today we're speaking with United States Army Colonel Wayne Marotto. Colonel, what made you decide to sign up for the service?
Well, there's a number of factors. So it's 1986, Ronald Reagan still president, and, a bunch of patriotism. I decided in a burst of patriotism I'd join. Also, the Army had a great recruiting program. One of the things that caught my eye was like a student loan repayment program. I was on my own. I left home when I was 18, and I was working my way through college. And I saw that, and I said, that's interesting. I'll try that, and I'll join the Army. It'll be a part-time job. I joined the reserves at the time, and that'll help me out. And then when I was at basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey, I talked to some guys from college, and I talked about this ROTC program. I was like, that's interesting, too. So when I went back to Texas, I looked up Army ROTC, and they said, sure, sign on up. I was like, okay, and decided to become an officer.
And Colonel, tell us what your parents said when you said to them, I'm going to put on the green.
I can't remember. I know when Desert Storm happened, about, I guess it was August 19, my mother called me and was crying, like, I don't want you to go over there. Don't worry about it. Same with, OIF and OEF. I've deployed on a number of occasions. The biggest one was with the 1st Armored Division for 15 months. That was OIF 0709, and we left March 2008. We were supposed to be the last surge brigade into Iraq, and we moved in a fob hammer. We got there in March and April 2008. It was some really bad stuff happening, but by May and June, we'd pretty much had beaten Sadr and had pacified Sadr City. You still took your chances every time you left the fob, in a Humvee or later on a Stryker. It's an occupational hazard being in the Army, and you never know.
And Colonel, tell me what was going through your head the first time you put on your Class A's as a United States soldier and looked in the mirror.
Pretty proud. And when I left basic, and it was a lot different back then, everybody says that. I remember the first couple mornings after basic, I was just waiting for my drill sergeant to tell us to get out of bed, and yell at us and stuff, because for so many weeks he controlled your life. And I was glad I was out of there. And yeah, I was pretty proud. And when I got my commission, I was really proud too.
Sir, what can you tell us about your family?
I have a wife, lives here at Fort Jackson here in Columbia, and I have 2 daughters. They live in Texas.
How'd y'all meet?
Well, serendipity. August 1987, I was in a fraternity at the University of Texas. She was in a sorority. I don't know if they have them anymore, but at the time they had what they called Pledge Line Night. And the sororities would introduce their pledges to the University of Texas to the fraternities. I was walking down the street with 2 of my fraternity brothers. We came to a street corner, and one said, hey, I'm going over to this sorority house. I was like, I already dated one of those girls. And the other guy said, I'm going over to this sorority house, opposite direction. Why don't you come with me? And so I stood there, and I said, So I went with the other guy, and we were walking, and these 2 girls are walking out of the house, and he goes, hey, I know that one girl, that blonde girl. And so we went over and started talking to them, and that blonde girl he knew would eventually become my wife.
And Colonel, of course, the families serve right along with the soldiers who serve our country. But when you're stationed here or abroad, sometimes you actually get to bring your family. So that's got to be the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, and they enjoy living in Germany. The 2 times we were there, we were fortunate to be stationed there twice. So yeah, they enjoyed being there and learning about different cultures and the travel. Now they didn't appreciate that for a span of about 6 years or so. There was a lot of deployments. One a 15-month with the 1st Armored Division out of Baumholder, and then another one 12 months in Kuwait with 3rd Army. So yeah, they just get used to it.
And for folks who may not know, when you're stationed, you have your family as kind of your home base, like being stationed at Fort Jackson. But a deployment means you don't bring your family. You go, right. You're going downrange to do a mission.
I think there are some families, I think you had an option if the family wanted to leave, they could go back to the States, but we never even looked into that. We PCS'd here to Sumter, to 3rd Army. As soon as I got here, within about 3 weeks, I deployed for a year to Kuwait for OIF. And then became Operation New Dawn. Then I left in July of 2011, came here to Sumter for 1 more year with 3rd Army. And then I was fortunate to go back to Germany, and then back to 3rd Army, immediately deployed to Kuwait for CJTF OIR.
Y'all in the Army use a lot of acronyms, you know
Yes, we do.
Colonel, tell me, what is the best thing about being in the service?
I think just serving your country and supporting and defending the Constitution against foreign or domestic enemies. That puts a lot of pride into people, and that's the oath we take. And there's a lot of people that can do other things and make a lot more money, but that's that sense of camaraderie and brotherhood and being together for a common purpose, and that purpose is and the oath that we take, supporting and defending the Constitution.
How does it make you feel when that's what you get to do every day?
It's great. I mean, it's an honor. And when I'm at airports, and we don't travel too much in our uniforms because of operation security, but when I'm in my uniform and people come up to me and say, thank you for your service, I almost always reply, it's an honor.
Thanks for joining us in our Soldier Salute. This salute to our local soldiers on 94.3 The Dude is presented by Spirit Communications, keeping you connected, and All American Heating and Air, American and proud of it.